Welcome to another episode of 602 Rose Show. We're going to be covering Week 3 picks for Gabby and Rachel's season of The Bachelorette. Bit of a rough week in Week 2, but definitely better than Week 1. I'll start off by showing you some of the commentary I sent out on social media and on the YouTube channel. I made a change. I swapped James out for Jason. I got a little scared, and that was a mistake. Do not change your lineup unless you see something compelling that makes you think so. The research you put in on the front end is going to be better than your knee-jerk reaction right before the show starts. I try to make it a habit not to change my lineups unless new information comes out. I got a little spooked, and I benched James. Cost me 9 points. So not the end of the world, but I wanted to use it to illustrate a point that the research you're doing should always outweigh knee-jerk reactions to something you see last minute or a weird feeling that you have with your lineup. So stick with the research that you put in and just trust yourself on it. Here you'll see my lineup for this week. Biggest surprise here is Jordan. We talked about having Jordan in the lineup because he had a one-on-one date. You always want the one-on-one dates in your lineup, even if they go home. And that's the scenario we thought we had with Jordan, was that he'd be going home. We knew we were going to lose points for him being eliminated. But to have 4 points with the amount of screen time that he got is it's a little wild, a little strange. He definitely didn't make the most of the time, and of course some of it is edit, I'm sure. But that's what we're playing. We're playing the edit. So Jordan going home with only 4 points, with the third most screen time of the week. That's one that definitely hurts you. So not necessarily wrong to have him in the lineup, but he did have the one-on-one date. We didn't expect him to be so fearful of everything, seemingly. And then obviously losing the time at the end of the night with Rachel is a big blow. Logan came through in a lot of formats by kissing both girls. If you had Logan in your lineup, you're probably in pretty good shape. The other one-on-one date, of course, was Nate. And Nate put up huge points, lots of physicality, lots of openness. He cried a little bit. The date was definitely catered to score a whole bunch of those points, but he put it up. The lineup kept me near the top. We're in third place in the Rose Show League, chasing what is becoming a wider and wider margin. The other thing you'll see there is up to 297th in the Bachelor Nation League. So definitely trending in the right direction. Keep setting your lineups. You'll move up through attrition, even if you're not scoring the most points in your league from week to week. So keep grinding. It's a long season. The perfect lineup for this last episode actually is the top scorers. The pricing was such that you could have the perfect lineup just by picking the best people. Nate, Logan, Zach, James, Eric, Johnny. 163 points would have been the perfect lineup. The best lineup in the Bachelor Nation League had 157, so definitely right there. James, right around 50% ownership. That's really where a lot of people at the top of the leaderboard missed out, was by not having James. But he did score 7 of his 19 points in the after credits scene at the end of the show, which counts. It's all fair points, but just kind of hurts to have been right about James and then get hit like that at the end. So know your format, know your scoring. Rose League will always be scoring those after credits scenes. So if you have an idea who that might be, or something quirky from promo or press shots that you didn't see in the episode, that's probably what's going to be coming up at the end of the show. So be aware. The points per rose is something I wanted to talk about this season, just to kind of get you in the mindset of looking at what a guy's done for the length of competition. Obviously heavily skewed right now to high performers. So you see Nate and Logan up at the top there. Nate way ahead of everyone with 53 total points there, coming off a 5 rose day. So this is essentially just an average of their week-to-week performance is how you should think about this, and what kind of value you can get at the cost. So the more points they give you for the fewer roses, it's a higher value. Now, It's not going to work week to week for your picks necessarily because of how the costs work out, but definitely something to be thinking about. If you're close on two guys, nice quick reference number to say, okay, this guy has done more with less. Week to week, you're going to see these dips and peaks with what they cost and what they score. So it's something to keep an eye on. I'll be tracking it this year, and we'll see if it actually gives us any good information. But here right now is the top 10. So going into week 3 here, the pricing algorithm is going to take the guys that score the most points and make them the most expensive. So Nate, Logan, Mario, Tino, Eric, $26 a pop. You're only starting 5 this week. So you can't get more than 3 of those guys in your lineup. You really should be trying to look forward to the episode and not backwards at the points, but the pricing is always going to be determined off the points. There's some values in this chart. I actually really like Jordan H at $12. I think there's a little bit of a value there. Jason at 12 as well. Jason is a weird one this year. We're not entirely sure how his season plays out, and he hasn't had a whole lot of screen time. So just be aware of some of those values. My picks, I got Eric, I got Zach. Those are the guys I stacked at the top. I slotted Ethan in because of the edit he's getting. He's getting this kind of jokester edit, and we know he moves on. So the rose, the ability to hit some jokes in there. He swore. If we can stack some of those points with Ethan, knowing that he continues on, that's where I want to be. Went a little chalky with Jason here. I mentioned him when we're talking about the pricing. He's really cheap. We know he moves on. No idea what kind of edit he's going to get. No idea if he gets any screen time. But at the price, it's a free rose, so I'm going to slot him in there and hope he doesn't do anything to hurt us. Going back to James. James is my Genevieve, and I'm very upset with myself. But in this episode, we believe it's the rose ceremony where the guys have to pick which girl they're there for. Rose League, there's no negative points for turning down a rose. So if he turns down Rachel's rose and gets a rose from Gabby, the screen time, the drama, it's going to necessitate him talking in a confessional scene. I like the points that we could get with James. Eric and Zach, obviously, are the one-on-one dates. You got to have those in there every single week. Jordan V, weird thing, usually doesn't happen at all. You might get sent home on a one-on-one late in the season. We know Eric and Zach move on, so these are safe one-on-one points. Contrarian pick this week. We tapped my mom from our show Heritage Cooking. She's new. She's new to this game. This is her second lineup. So I wanted to give you guys an unspoiled, chalkier look. She's pretty much going off of maybe a little light previews, but borrowing heavily from our show Champagne and Thorns and the information that the girls are putting out there. Nate, Mario, Jacob, Avon, Quincy. The biggest concern for me on this one is Quincy. We don't have a whole lot of footage of him. He could go home at this rose ceremony. And then Mario, we know doesn't make Final 12. But we shouldn't be quite to 12 at this rose ceremony. So 4 guys that should move on. Quincy, who knows? But Quincy's also shown he's willing to get mixed up in a little bit of drama. So this lineup is definitely one that's set with roses with upside for that drama. So it's very clearly different than mine. But something to be thinking about is just give you that different angle. That's really why I wanted to bring you these contrarian picks every week, was just to look at it through a different lens than the one that I bring. As I said, Champagne and Thorns, great resource. If you don't have time to watch, or if you love recap shows, or if you just really like women being honestly really funny. The girls are doing a great job. They're having a lot of fun. And it's a topic that if you're watching this show, I know you're already interested in. So head over to Champagne and Thorns. They release episodes every Tuesday. And that's a recap for the week-to-week batch so that we don't have to do it here on Rose Show. You can still join us on the Rose League. There's the place for week-to-week Bachelor and Bachelorette fantasy. Join us on 602 Rose Show, our league, and you can get in. You won't win now because you've missed 2 weeks, but you can get in and compete week to week, and we'd love to have you. And as always, like and subscribe this show. Subscribe to the channel as a whole, and let us know in the comments if we need to mix anything up. But thanks for joining us on 602 Rose Show, and we'll see you again next week.